Pay for my kids too, my sister snapped and threw me a $12,800 invoice. Tuition, gadgets, camp. I said not a cent. A week before Thanksgiving, I overheard her telling Mom, I have a plan. After dinner, he pays for my kids. Mom nodded. There are no other kids in this family. So I changed the plans. On November 23rd, my sister texted, "Where are you?" I laughed and advised not to wait for me and the catering. My name is Ryan. I'm 34. Middle kid, default driver, family IT desk. I keep spare batteries in my glove compartment, a PDF scanner app on my phone, and a little notebook where I write down what I loaned and what day someone said Friday for sure. I'm a bookkeeper for a small construction company. I like tidy lines, receipts that match, and coffee that's been sitting a little too long because I forget it when I'm deep in spreadsheets. My older sister, Ava, is the golden one. Marketing, big laugh, hair that behaves. My younger brother, Nate, is charming in a way that always finds a couch. Our parents orbit Ava like she's the only warm thing in space. It's been this way forever. Her achievements get speeches. Mine get a nod. Nate gets, he's finding himself. I don't complain. I keep the group chat organized with calendars and birthdays. I take photos at events because no one else remembers to. I fix printers. I Venmo. I show up. This year, I also wrote Thanksgiving, November 23rd, on a sticky note and stuck it to my fridge. I had a plan. Go to my parents' place, bring the Brussels sprouts, help my dad with the folding table, endure the polite remarks about my single life, drive home early. Simple. Keep the peace. Don't start anything. Then, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, I stopped by my parents' house to drop off a spare cooler. The back door sticks unless you lift and push. I lifted and pushed. I was halfway in when I heard voices. Kitchen. My mom's whisper-sharp tone, Ava's bright confidence. I have a plan, Ava said, and I could hear the smile. After dinner, he pays for my kids. Easy. We have the invoice. Tuition, gadgets, camp, the whole thing. I'll slide it over with dessert. How much is it? My mom asked. Only $12,800 for the semester. It's not even a full year. My mom made that approving hum she saves for Ava. There are no other kids in this family, she said, like a slogan. We all pitch in. He'll do the right thing. Something in my chest went still. I hadn't moved yet. I stood by the laundry room, holding a plastic cooler, looking at a stack of folded dish towels, and timed my breathing with the clicking clock on the wall like I could sync to something calmer. I heard Ava say, he won't say no in front of everyone. And my mom answer, he never does. I set the cooler down quietly, backed out the sticky door, and stood on the porch until my heartbeat slowed. On the drive home, my phone buzzed. A text from Ava. Heads up. I'll need your card after dessert. It's simpler if you just do it, okay? Love you. Heart emoji. Stacked hands emoji. The invoice PDF arrived 2 minutes later. Subject line, pay for my kids too. I didn't respond. I stared at the red numbers on my dash, the way the gas light flickers at the exact same point every week, and I thought about my notebook with lines of dates and names in my own neat handwriting, and how those lines never seem to end. That was the first trigger. I didn't act yet. I put my phone face down on the passenger seat, drove home in silence, and made a turkey sandwich I didn't taste. I sat at the table, listened to the fridge hum, and stared at the crayon drawing my nephew gave me last year. 3 stick people and a son with too many lines. He wrote, Uncle Ryan. Close enough. I told myself not to overreact. It's just talk, I thought. It's just Ava being Ava. It's just mom doing the mom thing. I brushed my teeth, set my alarm, and tried to sleep. I didn't. This didn't start with a $12,800 invoice. It started years ago with smaller numbers and the way everyone smiled when I pulled out my card. When Ava had her first baby, I covered the hospital parking because we forgot cash. When her second came, I paid the doula deposit because we'll pay you Friday. Friday turned into next Friday, and then into a very sweet thank you card with a gift card to a cafe that closed in 2018. Oops, Ava laughed, tearing the envelope out of my hand. You should have used it. I paid Nate's traffic ticket because he said it would ruin his insurance forever. I paid my parents' electric bill when there was a mix-up with autopay. I bought the extra foldable chairs we used last Thanksgiving because the old ones squeaked, and my mom said the squeak hurt her head. No one asked. I volunteered. That's on me. I like being useful. I like the feeling of a problem being over. The money story in our family is simple. Ava has expensive emergencies. Nate has urgent opportunities. My parents have constant surprises. I have stability. My mom says stable like it's a synonym for endless. She loves saying, We're so proud of how you support each other. That's what family does. She wishes out loud that I would aspire higher. And in the same breath, texts me screenshots of Ava's Amazon cart with "Can you grab these?" in the caption. She says, "We're not keeping score," and then keeps score in invisible ink. I started keeping light score in my notebook. Not out of spite. Out of sanity. January 12th. Ava, $180. Field trip fund plus new cleats. March 3rd. Nate, $400. Deposit for room he didn't get. April 29th. Parents, $260. Plumber. Lines, dates, notes like "promised Friday," and a small check mark when the money came back. Not many check marks. Ava's kids go to a private school that sends glossy magazines with pictures of kids in blazers holding violins. She calls it the investment. She also uses investment for new phones, summer camps with glossy brochures, and a coding kit that cost more than my first laptop. Her husband, Eric, is nice until money appears. Then he gets quiet and looks at his watch. They aren't villains. They're just used to the world rearranging itself to make their choices look smart. A year ago, Ava sent an invoice by email labeled "Emergency Tuition Gap, $3,600. Just cover it and I'll sort it with Dad," she wrote. My dad never sorts anything except nuts and bolts into coffee cans in the garage. I paid it. I told myself it was the last time. Then came STEM kits, only $799. Ryan, don't be cheap. They're curious. And fall trip to DC. Just the deposit, $500 now, they'll fundraise later. And scholarship application fee. A fee to apply for a scholarship. This one killed me. I don't have kids. My guesses about future costs live in a tiny tab named Someday. But I'm not blind. Rent is up. Milk is up. The dentist is a luxury item. My car needs new tires. The tooth that buzzes sometimes needs a crown soon. I budget with the quiet panic of someone who knows 3 bad months could erase 10 good ones. I've told Ava no. Sometimes. Once, she handed me a physical invoice at my nephew's birthday party like a party favor. "Gadgets," she said. "They need them for school." I said, "They don't need 2 iPads and new headphones for kindergarten." She said, "It's for their brain development." My mom, cutting cake, said, "Don't stifle them." I said, "They have more devices than I do." Ava said, "Maybe that's your problem." Eric laughed and said, "He's old school." My dad turned up the music. When I push back, my mother goes strategic. "There are no other kids in this family," she'll say, which means every expense is everyone's. We don't separate. We all do our part. The part assignments are mysterious and fixed. Ava's part is selecting nice things. Nate's part is making everyone laugh. My part is paying for the nice things and listening to the jokes. There was the year my parents forgot to save for property taxes and I floated it because the penalties scared them. There was the month Nate's landlord threatened eviction and I just spotted him because it's complicated. There were the holidays I bought half the food because the word catering makes my mom feel like a queen. She calls it light catering. There's nothing light about the bill. I told myself the same sentence every time. It's family, and I can afford it. Here's the part one don't like admitting. Being the rescuer feels good, until it doesn't. It makes me feel capable. It turns noise into quiet. But quiet bought with resentment isn't real quiet. It's holding your breath until the room calms down. You still suffocate. So when I heard Ava tell my mother, "I have a plan. After dinner, he pays," something that had been wobbling inside me set down. Not rage. Not yet. Just an internal no, not allowed. Not again. I didn't text back. I didn't forward the invoice to Lena. There is no Lena here. It's just me. I didn't call my grandma for backup. I made a bowl of cereal at 11 p.m. and ate it standing up, and I practiced the words, "I can't do that," in my kitchen until my cat came in, sat down, and stared like I was making a good point. I slept badly. Every time I drifted off, I heard my mom say, "There are no other kids." And I saw a table with a slice of pie and a piece of paper and all the eyes turning to me. In the morning, I put the invoice on my desk and stared at the line items. Tuition, $8,400. Gadgets, $2,100. Camp, deposit plus gear, $2,300. Total due, $12,800. Due date, ASAP, before Thanksgiving to avoid late fees. Ava had added a note. "You can put it on your rewards card." I closed the PDF, walked to the mirror, and said out loud, "No," it sounded small. Then I said it again and again until it sounded like a complete sentence. Thanksgiving planning is a ritual in our family. My mom makes the list, Ava adds expensive touches, Nate promises ice and forgets it. I fill the gaps. This year, my mom wanted light catering for the turkey and sides because the oven hates me. She told me the menu like she was reading poetry. Herb turkey, truffled potatoes, glazed carrots, mac and cheese for the kids, 3 pies. We'll pick up rolls, she added, like that made the rest simple. Who's paying? I asked, even though I knew. Don't start, she said. We're all pitching in. It'll be under 1,000. That's reasonable. I pictured the money I'd already sent this month. $300 to Nate for bridge until Tuesday. $210 for my parents' prescription copay because the card didn't work. And the recurring $70 internet bill I pay because you set it up. Sweetie, it's easier if you keep it. I heard the little buzzing tooth. I said, I can't do catering this year. I'll bring Brussels and a dessert. My mom sighed like I dropped a tray. Ava's kids won't eat Brussels sprouts. They'll eat what everyone eats, I said. My own voice surprised me. It didn't wobble. She made a noise. Ava's handling the important part, she said, meaning the invoice. Don't be difficult. I didn't answer. I said, I'll be there at 2. Then I hung up and sat looking at my wall clock. It ticked like an ankle on a chair. I opened my email, looked at the invoice one more time, and felt a wave of something hot. Then it cooled. Clarity is a temperature drop. 2 days before Thanksgiving, Ava texted again. Hey, send the card details so I can pre-run it with the school and camp. Saves time Thursday. I typed. No. She sent back 12 question marks and a voice note that started with a laugh and slid into, Are you serious? Ryan, don't make this weird. It's for the boys. You're good with money. You literally love budgets. Just do the thing. I called. I'm not paying your invoice, I said. Not a cent. She made a sound like she'd dropped her phone into a sink. Excuse me. I'm not paying. I won't be discussing it at dinner or after dinner. And if you bring it up, I'll say no in front of everyone. You're punishing my kids. I'm not punishing anyone, I said. I'm ending a pattern. I can't keep funding your choices. I'm not a second parent to your kids. Mom said. I heard what Mom said. I cut in. There are no other kids in this family. That's not true. There are your kids. There are Nate's someday kids. There are hypothetical future kids. There are adults who made decisions. And there is me. I'm allowed to be a separate person. She went quiet. Then, wow. On Thanksgiving week. You're heartless. I'm boundary full, I said, and immediately regretted the phrasing, but not the meaning. She hung up. That night, my mom called with the tone she uses for doctor appointments. Ava tells me you're being difficult. I'm saying no. She launched into the speech. We raised you. We did without. We never asked. You asked, I said. You ask all the time. You just don't call it that. She went silent long enough to feel like a tiny victory. Then she tried another angle. Family isn't transactional. Money is, I said. And this is money. You'll regret this, she said, voice going small and sharp. I already regret the last 5 temporary emergencies, I said. And we sat in the quiet for a beat. And then she said, fine. Don't bring a thing. Like it was a punishment, and hung up. I thought I'd feel sick. Instead, I felt like I'd been holding a heavy bag by the handles and finally put it down. A week before Thanksgiving, I stopped by my parents again because I wanted to look my mother in the face and check my own resolve. I pulled into the driveway. The curtains were open. I could see my mom at the table with her binder of lists, Ava beside her, both heads bent over paper. I lifted and pushed the sticky door. I heard their voices before they saw me. I have a plan, Ava said, same tone as before. After dinner, he pays for my kids. Like she was explaining a seating chart. I'll do the toast about gratitude. I'll talk about community. Then I'll slide the invoice over. He won't embarrass me in front of the boys. My mom nodded. There are no other kids in this family, she said again. He'll do the right thing when he sees their faces. I stepped into the frame. Hi. They both flinched. My mom covered the paper with her hand like a teenager hiding a quiz. Ryan. Oh, we didn't hear you. Sticky door, I said. Ava recovered instantly. Great timing. Look, about Thursday. No, I said. We're not doing that. She laughed brightly. Doing what? The performance. The toast. The invoice. I'm not paying. Not now. Not after dessert. Not later. You really want to do this here? She asked, lowering her voice like I was the one making a scene. I want to do this once, I said. My mom's mouth tightened. You're being cruel. I'm being clear, I said. Clarity sounds cruel when you're used to getting your way. Ava pushed the invoice toward me anyway. Just look. I've looked, I said. It says $12,800. That's not my bill. Everyone benefits when my kids succeed, she said. That's how families grow wealth. I benefit when my savings exist, I said. I benefit when my car gets new tires before the tread is smooth. I benefit when I can handle my own dental work. I'm not setting myself on fire to keep you warm. You love those boys, my mom said. And it was a statement, not a question. I do, I said. I love them enough not to tie their joy to my credit limit. Ava stared. You've changed. I've noticed, I said, and turned to leave because the conversation was a loop and I'd reached the start again. On the porch, my phone buzzed. It was the catering company. Hi, we just need the card on file to run the deposit for Thursday. I could see my mother's silhouetted head in the window. I pictured her beaming when the trays arrived, bragging about light catering. I felt the bag handles in my hands again, the weight of years. I took a breath. I won't be placing that order, I said. Please take my name off the account. If someone else wants to handle it, they'll call you. The woman said okay in a practiced way. I thanked her. I hung up. Then I made a different call. I texted my friend Caro, who runs a tiny cafe that does holiday boxes. Any chance you have 2 small Thanksgiving boxes left? She did. I paid for one for me and one for Nate because I knew he'd end up eating cereal if my mom went nuclear. Pick up November 23rd at 1 p.m., she texted. Done. I also drove to the store and bought a frozen pumpkin pie because an empty plate on a quiet table can feel like a small failure. I put the pie in my freezer and stuck a note on it. November 23rd. On NOV 23rd, 11:15 a.m., my phone lit up. Ava, where are you? Mom, ETA. Dad, your mother is nervous. The group chat. Don't be late. I took a photo of the sky, empty and sharp, and then typed back to Ava. Don't wait for me and the catering. She sent a wall of text. WHAT. Are you kidding? Mom thinks you're picking it up. They're already here. People are coming. You're going to humiliate us. I wrote. I told you I wasn't paying. Enjoy your plan. I changed mine. Then I turned my phone face down and picked up the cafe boxes. I brought one to Nate's apartment. He opened the door in socks and relief. I love you forever, he said, grabbing the box. Mom said there's drama? I shrugged. There's clarity. He nodded like he'd been waiting for that word. I went home, warmed my food, cut the pie, and ate at my little table with the bad plant that keeps deciding to live anyway. I watched a movie I've seen 10 times. It felt like a day that happened inside my life, not a performance I was drafted into. The calls kept coming. My mom. How could you? My dad. You put us in a terrible position. Ava, you're dead to me. Then another. Okay, not dead, but wow. Then, you ruined Thanksgiving. Then, the boys are crying. They cry when there are no marshmallows. I know how this works. I waited until 7 p.m., then I called my mom back. Did people eat? I asked. Yes, she said tight. We ordered pizzas. Good, I said. Happy Thanksgiving. You should apologize, she said. For what? For abandoning your family, she said. I didn't abandon anyone, I said. I refused to finance a trap. There's a difference. You did it for attention, she said. I did it to stop bleeding money, I said. You think you're better than us, she said. I think I'm separate from you, I said. That's new. I like it. She hung up. Ava texted at 9. We need to talk. Tomorrow. Noon. I replied, no. Next week if you want. Not about money. She sent back. You're unbelievable. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and fell asleep hearing nothing but my own radiator. The fallout week looked like this. Monday, my aunt called to say I broke my mother's heart. I said it'll heal. Tuesday, Eric left a voicemail explaining their cash flow like I'm a bank manager. I deleted it. Wednesday, my grandma texted a heart and proud of you for standing strong. I cried in my car for 2 minutes outside the hardware store. Thursday, Nate sent a photo of an empty plate with thank you written in gravy. I laughed too hard at that. Friday, my mom posted a Facebook status about kids these days and losing values. I resisted the urge to comment, values are not a payment plan. A week later, Ava sent a shorter invoice. Tuition portion only, $8 for 100. I replied with a link to a scholarship program at the school and a budget template. She wrote, don't treat me like one of your clients. I wrote, okay, and didn't. 2 weeks later, my mom tried a new tactic. Can you at least cover Christmas dinner? I said, I'll bring 2 sides. She said, you don't love me. I said, I love you enough to stop lying by paying. Silence. Then, we'll see. 3 weeks later, Ava called from her car. I could hear turn signals. I hate you, she said. I listened. Then she said, no, I don't. I hate that this is hard. I said, me too. She said, the boys asked if Uncle Ryan is mad at them. I said, tell them I love them. I just can't be the money guy anymore. She said, Eric says you're being dramatic. I said, maybe. It's working. We ended the call with nothing solved and no invoice sent. That felt like a win. It's quieter now. Not silent. Just less of that buzzing noise where I can't hear my own thoughts. I'm learning that peace is not everyone being happy with me. Peace is me not being furious at myself. My mom still says, there are no other kids in this family. I say, there are, and I am one of them. My dad still tries to float logistics. Okay, what if we split in thirds? I say, I'm not splitting your choices. Nate still borrows $40 sometimes. I still give it to him if I can. He pays me back lately. He sends a screenshot of the transfer with a thumbs up emoji like we're both proving something. Ava has mostly stopped sending invoices. She sends questions instead. Do you know a cheaper camp? Is there a used buy group for gadgets? How do you set up autopay? I help when I have bandwidth. I say, no, when I don't. She tries to guilt me once a month. I let it pass. She sends a photo of the boys at the park sometimes. I heart it. I send a sticker book. Not a laptop. A sticker book. I put new tires on my car. The hum on the highway is different, steady, safe. I booked a dentist appointment and told the hygienist I want to fix the crown in March. I set up a little automatic transfer to a folder named Someday. It tucks away $100 a month. It's not impressive. It's mine. For Christmas, I brought mac and cheese and roasted carrots. My mom tried the line again, you don't love me, when I wouldn't pay for light catering. I said, I love you. I'm not paying. She squinted, then hugged me like she was angry and affectionate at the same time. That's my mother. I accept the hug, not the invoice. If you're reading this because someone in your family slid you a bill with a smile, or because you overheard them planning your generosity like a weather event that always happens, here's what I learned the hard way. Write down your lines. Actual sentences. I can't do that. That's not my bill. I'm ending a pattern. I love you. No. Say them out loud in your kitchen until they stop shaking. Expect people to call you cruel when you get clear. They're not used to separate you. Expect the texts, the missed calls, the long posts about family values. Expect the quiet after you hold your line. That quiet is weird and, honestly, beautiful. I didn't fix my family. I changed my part. I stopped funding disrespect. I stopped treating my wallet like a fire extinguisher for bad planning. I stopped confusing helpful with available. I started being a person with my own budget and my own holidays. On November 23rd, when Ava texted, "Where are you?" I laughed and told her not to wait for me and the catering. That was the first holiday with my new rule. It wasn't a triumph. It was a table with 2 place settings and a pie, and a man eating slowly and feeling something new. Relief. My name is Ryan. I'm 34. Middle kid. Bookkeeper. Person with boundaries. There are, in fact, other kids in this family. One of them is me, and I'm finally acting like it.